How is it going? What do we have here? What do we have here? That's right, we have a plane. If you couldn't tell, I hope you could tell. And we're gonna be showcasing the $50 plane haul from the flea market. And potentially, yeah. So here we have the box that was made by the dude that had the plane. It's got a power panel. I soldered some new connectors on. Can hook the power panel right up to the battery. And these connectors, I changed these for the igniter. That's wired, so I don't have to charge this igniter, which is nice. Here we have some tools that it came with, a fuel filter, extra glow plug that doesn't have the ring thingy seal that it doesn't have that. I'll just use the old one if I need to put a new glow plug on, obviously. And then we've got the wireless glow plugs, some extra propellers. Don't know what that is. Just chargers. Some zip ties. Some hardware. A gear replacement set for the servos that are over 20 years old. Just some more hardware in this bag. Oh, and then a glow plug in the box. Close that up. Here we have rubber bands, and under that we have a carburetor to a different engine, and then a different engine, but this one's seized. Then we have this cable, which is some sort of cable that goes on the transmitter. I don't have any clue what that does. And it came with this silicone sealant and this cement, but both of those are dried. But here's some after run oil, which isn't bad yet. Some low strength thread lock. And then we get to the exciting part. Just kidding, we're not getting to that yet. This is the charger for the transmitter. It also has one of those chargers you can charge your receiver battery on it, and I need a new receiver battery. Here's a starter so you don't have to rip your fingers off every time you start it. Here's a switch. I took that out because I did not want it in the plane. We're gonna move on to the boxes. Here's the wing. Wingspan's kind of small, only a couple 64 inches. Pretty small if you ask me. Yeah, totally. Here's a broken starter. That's the first thing you see when you open this box. Some servo horns, a fuel filter, another connector, the plural because there's a positive and negative, or just black and white, doesn't matter where you put them. Here's another container full of more servo horns and some random tube. Now here's something pretty neat, I think. An old servo in the box still. Everything in the bag wrapped around the servo, which is pretty interesting. Under this, we've got a bunch of older bag stuff. We've got a replacement gear set, servo horn, another gear set, another servo horn, and some fittings for fuel line, and an extension, and just some hardware and more hardware. I don't know what these are, but they must be servo horns that you drill your own holes into. Interesting, never seen them. Here's a bunch of propellers, some nose thingies, spinners, whatever you call them. More. Here's some fuel line. There's 2 more of those in there. Here's some more glow plugs. That's just for the charging thing that you use with the switch. Don't know what this is, don't feel like opening it. I think it was like a receiver crystal or transmitter crystal, but I probably will never have to use that. Here's a tilt wheel if I want to do a different configuration. Here's some wheels still in the box, a charger or just an adapter, and then a bunch of wheels of different diameters. So let's put this stuff all back away. Now here's the other box. This has got, on top we have this, I don't know what this is, if it's a warranty card, but I don't think there's a warranty on it. Definitely not anymore for sure. So parts list. Kyosho parts were still expensive back then. Huh, cool. Here's the manual for which, because this has 2 transmitters, so I don't know which one this is. But I think that's the, yeah, that's the AM one that's old, and you'll see that in a second. Here's the flyer or something. Shows all their planes, I think, unless they had more, but they have that one. And there was another one that was like that, right there. And it had that, all this stuff. Put that to the side. Here's the instructions manual. We're not gonna look through that. Here's some more interesting stuff. So here's a pretty old voltmeter from Tower Hobbies, and you can see it's pretty clean. Got dust on it, but it's got no scratches. It's got one of these connectors, like the receiver thingies. I don't know how to really use it. I know how to use a normal one that you just put leads on, but okay, now we've got the old transmitter. AM transmitter. Interesting. And it comes with a whole radio system with all the servos, and it uses a different kind of connector than I've ever seen before. Let's go through this stuff because it's pretty interesting, I think. Maybe not to some, but to me. So that's the old receiver. Let it focus. We've got some servos. Oops. And then the switch that you can charge your receiver battery through, and then you don't have to take your battery out ever. And then, anyway, yeah, I don't know much about these, because it's literally pretty much the exact opposite of modern receivers. I'm not going to try unplugging that, but different connector than I've ever seen in my life. So, oh, and the receiver battery. But I can't use this with the current setup because it's got that weird connector. And a charger for your receiver battery and for your transmitter. And then, never really looked through this stuff, so some links. Don't really know what these are. Have to look into them. An extension for that type of connector, hardware, and some servo horns. So we'll put that back away. Okay, back to the bags. Here's just some foam rubber stuff. I really don't know what this is. I think it's for a pump. It looks like it's got that. Then here's a big cable for throttle or whatever you use it for, but I think you'd want to use it for, I don't know what you'd use it for. No idea. This looks like it holds a servo, but I don't know what this stuff all is. got this box for the receiver or something, whatever it was for. This is the box from the power panel that's currently on it. It's got a different power panel that had this on it. A hand pump. Never gonna use that either. I don't really have any clue what this is. I'm not gonna figure out what that is probably. Then we've got the box for one of the engines. It has nothing in it. Actually it does, that's a lie. So we've got a manual and then a bunch of crankcase seals or whatever. That's what they definitely look like. This is some hardware. Don't really know what this is. Maybe a head gasket kind of thing. More seals. O-ring, I don't know what that's for. And the fuel, oh, I know. I don't know what this is either. I think it's a fuel needle, but I'm not sure. Some random bushings or something. A random bushing or something. Here we've just got some nitro. This stuff is pretty good yet. Still use it, but this stuff. See that? Terrible. We'll burn that on fire. So let's walk on over to here and get to the fun part. And this is one of the fun parts. Here we've got a pump and another bottle of nitro. This stuff's still pretty good. I can run it off of it. So what we do is unhook this. This is where I unhook it from. I don't know where the previous owner unhooked it from. We take this. See that? It's this little nozzle. Just the brass tubing. Just take it. And I just put that on the fuel line. And then go over here. I can either click it or just hold it. Usually I just hold it. And I have to have it pumping in to the tank. So hold on, I'll back that up. There. Now you'll get to see it pump in. Okay, no you don't. Never mind. So we're just filling it up. That's probably enough. I'm just going to run it a little bit. So we unplug that, let gas fly everywhere. Then we plug back in this into the fuel filter. There, plugged it back in. And then flip this around to the really fun part. So we just take this. We have it backed up to there. So we can push on it. We take this starter. Couldn't get a starting video because it was very difficult to do. Now we're just going to do the post-run maintenance routine. So we're going to turn this around. We're going to do something real cool. We're going to take out the fuel. It's pretty cool. Doesn't matter if the engine's hot. I'm not worried about that. Someday it'll fire up on me. But not today. So here it's on, it's pumping into the tank. So I just take this, reverse it, and then we can pump fuel out. Tip it back a little. That's all the fuel we can get. Plug that back into there. And then we have to plug this back into the fuel filter. Bam. And then we don't have to turn it around. No reason. Take the glow plug out. Whoops. Glow plug. We take our after run oil, wherever I had set that, right there. That was cool, I have to get that. We'll grab that later. Take a little bit of oil, drop it down the spark plug hole, a couple drops, maybe 3, I do 3, and then 3 down the carburetor, but we'll open that up first. Drop, drop, drop. We'll close the carburetor, and we'll go retrieve the cap for the oil, because I did that really cool thing. Then we'll put the glow plug back in, make sure it's not cross-threading by hand tightening it. Clearly you can see I'm hand tightening it right here with a breaker bar. And then we just take it, we just turn it over a couple times. There, that's probably good enough. Then we're done. Right there, got a cool igniter holder. Yeah, that was so cool. I hit the camera with my hand. That was really cool. Useless and cool. Not even cool. Anyway, look at cool spinny tires. Maybe we'll see it fly. Maybe.